If I was starting MDH up again, this is exactly what I would do. Watch my video to find out more. If you haven't yet, click the bell and subscribe to be notified every time we produce our best pieces of content. If I was going back in a time machine 13 years ago, this is what I would tell Michael back then. Everything that he was doing in setting up a business, I'll tell him what he was doing well and what he could do to make it even better. So setting up MDH again, and for any small business, this is what I would do. Watch my video to find out more. Are you starting a business or are you starting a hobby? Now, if you're starting a business, the most important part that you need is customers. Now, if you have customers, you have a business. And without them, you have a hobby. So starting out in business, I was fortunate where I had 3 or 4 when I first started. And I was able to grow a good pace, which allowed me to sustain. But any business that is starting up again in business, be conscious that make sure you've got the right amount of customers for your business to be able to sustain. Now, on the flip side of that, we don't always have some customers that land on our lap nicely. We need to go out there, we need to build them, we need to raise awareness for our business. So personally, what you need to really understand is what number do you need to earn monthly to keep everything going on at home. Now, if you take that as a monthly number, I'm going to call this runway. So runway is where you have a certain amount of cash that will get you through X amount of months. So you need to not just have a figure where you go, oh yeah, I could live on this, but it's never really going to happen. You need to know physically what you're going to spend. And then that way you can go, right, I've got a pool of cash in there at the minute, and I need to live on £2,000 a month. Well, if you've got 10 grand, that's going to last you 5 months. So unless your business is going to actually get there within 5 months, what are you going to do to survive? How are you going to get there, and how are you going to keep the lights on, pay your rent, whatever you need to do to keep your personal life going? Because it's that month afterwards that you need to have a plan if you have a problem. Yes, there are ways around this where you can get financing, you can get loans, you can get all sorts. But rule number 1 is know how much runway that you've got personally to be able to survive. It's massive. Now, when I started up in business, I knew exactly the type of runway that I needed per month. And yes, I didn't start off with the money that I was earning while I was employed. I took less, but that was the investment in myself and within my company. And yes, everyone's going, oh, when you're running your own business, you could earn loads. Yes, you can. But everyone forgets to tell you about everything that you need to invest within your business. Time, resources, effort, stuff that you just need to get it to the goals that you're achieving to. So I had goals initially where I wanted to get into a certain level of turnover quite quickly, and I made sure that I was investing a lot in marketing. I was going out there avidly networking and looking at referral-based marketing with professionals to be able to get up to the level of clients where I was truly happy. So, I mean, I was really blessed. I had a professional referral, and her name was called Angela, who really helped me within the business. She gave us loads of inquiries that I'm truly grateful for, even to this day, because it was her believing in me and the vision that I had for MDH that gave us a leg up to really build some wonderful customers like we have. I also made sure that instead of taking the money out as salary, I was straight onto a tool called Google AdWords. So I made sure that I had a website in place, and yes, if I look back now, it's going to look slightly naff. But all you want to do is make sure that you've got the best version of yourself at the time, because it's so easy to procrastinate and go, well, it's not quite right, when you've just got to get it live. When I was actually growing the business, I was working from home, and again, I'm a big fan of not lying to people, but if you haven't got anything that's a tangible benefit that someone will believe in, don't mention it. So when I had these potential new clients calling up, they'd go, oh, yeah, that's good, I'd love to see you. And I say, look, for me to give you that additional service that I want, let me come to your home, let me come to your office, and I'll come and see you personally. That's really nice of you. Not many other accountants do that. And I say, this is the extra mile that I want to go to help you. Now, number 1, I was basically saying to them, I didn't really want them coming to my house. If they asked me, did I trade from home, I always told people. But if I didn't have to tell them, I wasn't going to, because I was basically selling really good customer service that I believed that I delivered. And that meant going the extra mile, that meant going to people's houses, that meant going to people's offices, so they were made to feel special and that it was in need. So for me, it was all about accentuating the positives. And the positive for me was, at the time, for customers like yourself, would be we'd go that extra mile. Instead of saying, oh, is it okay that I worked from home? What is also really clear as well when you're looking, if I was building a business again, was how hard I worked. So what I did was I went like an absolute steam train because I wanted to be as successful as possible. And I'll be honest, there were bits of it where I did on times burn out, where I'd just gone back a bit too hard, a bit too long, sacrificed a bit too much when I should have called in for help quicker. Looking back, I probably should have employed people quicker than I did. But what people forget to remember when you're actually scaling a business where you take on your first employee, it's savage when you're taking on your first employee because you're worried. You're taking on someone's responsibility. It's almost like becoming a different type of parent. You've got their responsibility at the salary, you've got their responsibility of looking after them. It's a big deal. I know I certainly struggled with it. And at times when I got comfortable with it, I was then easier on employing people. But employing people's not the easiest thing to do in the world because interviews are a very plastic environment and they're difficult to understand. But when we did what we call psychometric testing and we understood how people developed and talked, I really got to understand my teams on a greater level. So I would say if I was to start up again, I would employ people quicker. Make sure that I've got the right level of profit so I can get the level of income that I need. And then I'd be looking at cutting away stuff that I don't need to be doing. Now, when we work with clients, we commonly call this a stop doing list, where you go, why the hell am I doing this? Why the hell am I doing this? Because if you can cut away a load of admin tasks that someone can do just as well and a lot better, that means you can go and deliver more product, more service. That means you can go out and sell more. That means you can earn more money than you would do by paying someone as administrator. And I'm not devaluing the administrator because they're going to be really important. And there's loads of people in our business that support that are monumental with the service we deliver. And I'm truly grateful that they're part of the team. But what you're doing is you're paying to your best skills. Now, most business owners, and they'll probably hate to admit this, the key facet that they need in their locker is to be able to sell. Now, in professional services, it can be really difficult when you're selling because it's not something natural that a professional deals with. But all you're actually doing is telling the person what benefits you could be for them and giving them a price. So I would say one of the key tools that you need in your locker as a small business owner is being the ability to sell. And when you dig into that and you go a bit deeper, you'll be able to see that that ability is actually just your inner confidence within your own self. So are you able to scale your business and train your team members to sell it just as good as you? And are you taking on people at the right time? Because I certainly didn't. And there were times on various occasions where I did burn out. And that has a monumental impact on your health. What I would also look at as well is the timing of decisions. So it's all very well and good that you'll have a really good run and you'll start building up a decent amount of turnover. And yeah, it feels good. You've got it to a level where it's comfortable and it's nice, but really all you've done is put a glass ceiling on top of you. And there was a time back in our business where I took MDH up to a certain level, and although I said I was growing it, I weren't really. It was just poodling along, not really doing a lot, not really growing a lot. I said I was doing it, but really I was comfortable at the position that we was. And the moment I decided to get brave about things, this is the one question that I would ask every small business owner is, are you being courageous? Is what are you doing every day that makes it really brave? Because when I took the lid off with that turnover barrier that I remember really well, is our whole world changed. We then got a whole load of new clients that came through the door. Yes, we were doing marketing, and yes, we were doing paid pay-per-clicks, and yes, we were after people, but also different types of clients came to me where I think my energy just changed. And although I should probably never ever say this as an accountant, the moment your energy changes, the more things attract to you when you are just ready. So if I was looking back again today, I would definitely be really conscious about energy and also making decisions, especially around glass ceilings. What I also would do as well is if I was not confident in doing something, say a certain area, I would hide. I'm not doing that. Or that specialism of work. Now, I think it's really important, especially as an accountant, you work with clients that you find really, really interesting. So for us, we love working with growing businesses. We've got loads of experience in construction, loads of experience with recruitment businesses, loads of experience with property companies. These are things that I find interesting. And when you're interested and you're passionate about it, the client feels better, you do a better job, everybody wins. In my own business, if I was a startup again, I would follow your passion, but also follow your passion that can make you money at the same time. Now, as a startup, this is easier for me, is I'd have a handle of my numbers. So the numbers that you need to know on a monthly or quarterly basis is what's your VAT likely to be on a quarterly basis. And you can work out what that's going to be per month. You also want to know what your base overhead's going to be, because overheads don't change whether you turn over £1 or whether you turn over a lot more. And then what type of contribution do I need to make, which is gross profit, to be able to pay my salary that I want to earn so I can look after my children and my wife, and also what I would need to invest back in the business so it could be a thriving success. So if I was looking back as Michael as a startup business, I would say, yeah, there were loads of things that you did really, really well. I'd be really careful about burnout. We're just doing too much. I'd be really careful about putting glass ceilings on my head, which I so did. And I'd be really careful about having a massive handle within my business. I think the two hardest things in business, full stop, are pricing, because it's hard, because no one ever tells you that, oh, it's too cheap. Can you charge me some more for that? They look in your eyes to see your confidence, whether they can get you down any more. And the second one is if you get a toxic team member. So what helped me a lot through both of them situations is I've had various help within my business. There are people that I call on. So if I've got problems in certain areas, I know and go call this person, this person. I've had coaching in other areas as well that has put me on, that just gets you there quicker. So I've had various coaches within my business that have helped me with certain areas that have really helped improve. And because you can never ever stop investing in yourself, which will allow you to get the goals that you really want to achieve. So anyone starting up in business, the numero uno most important part is what customers have you got if you've not got a hobby. But the second part is some of this is really hard work, some of this is really challenging and really draining. But I found the adventure, it's been exciting. There's loads of things that I've really enjoyed. I've really enjoyed systemising the business, so we've got people to do more with more team, which has allowed us to grow even further. One thing that I got really wrong early on was not giving myself enough credit for the things that we were doing. I would constantly bash myself over the head again. Still got this to do, still got this to do, still got this to do. So make sure that you celebrate each day, each week for the achievements that you've achieved, rather than looking what's still left to do. Because let's be honest, it's never ever finished. Now, if you've got any questions that's come up from this, or if I can help in any way, if you're a startup or a growing business, please click my Calendly link below. I'll take on board any questions that you have. There'll be no pushy sales pitch, and you never know, we might even end up working together.